What is going on, my coaches? It's your boy B Mark coming at you with another episode of the Change Eyes Make One on the Channel podcast. And
we're here to drop. Well, I don't even know because Brian decided this podcast. He's like has this cheesy little grin yesterday. He's like, I know what we're talking about on our podcast tomorrow, but I can't tell you. And I hate that. I hate when it's like just don't say anything then. Just like tell me 2 minutes before. I hate the wait. So.
And then the podcast title is Choosing the Wrong Partner Could Ruin Your Life, which is hilarious. So today's podcast is going to be about life partners. And I'm going to start the podcast by letting you guys know that I have the fucking best life partner ever. And I also want to have a conversation about how choosing the wrong partner could ruin your life. And I want to give you guys a little bit of a backstory, and then we can kind of go, we're going to bounce back and forth because I know that you're going to have a lot to say about this as well. Before I met Kirsten, I was dating somebody who I thought we were in love and I thought it was all good. And I honestly thought I was going to marry this person. That's kind of the mentality that I had in my head. And I didn't see it at the time, but this person was very toxic for me and my goals. In the sense that none of my friends like this person. So that's a big red flag. If none of your friends like the person, it's a big red flag. I noticed that I had to sacrifice a lot of my own work in order to make this person happy. I felt like my needs weren't being met in the relationship. And it was always the other person's needs were put before my needs. And I was always put on the back burner. And I was almost ashamed to bring up what I needed because I was made to feel less than. And when we broke up, I was literally in the worst possible place. I just was in this place of need. I need this person in my life. I need this person around. I need to have this, I need to be around this person. And I was almost willing to do absolutely anything to just get them back. And I was in a really rough spot. And I feel that phase of my life involved a lot of partying. It involved a lot of drinking. It involved a lot of straight up drugs. I'm not going to lie. And I was just in a really rough place. And I feel that is kind of where, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I feel before we met,
yeah, I've had a few partners. I've had a few good ones. I'm just kidding. One thing I said today on my group call is I genuinely wish all my past partners success. I don't have any sort of resentment or hatred towards them. But I said this morning, word for word, that if I would have stayed in my relationship that was 14 years long, I would not be where I am today. I would be in the same place that I was 14 years ago. And I think it becomes so easy to feel safe and to feel your almost a life obligation is to work on it. And I believe that when you're married, you should be putting in the reps, but I also think there's a point in time where you need to tap out. And I think there's so many people, and I would bet my bottom dollar that there's people watching this right now that are in a place where it's time for you to tap out, but you're staying. And quite literally, if you're constantly complaining on a daily basis about your lack of success, the lack of support, I'm not doing well. One of the biggest things, especially as a female, you guys, the state of my relationship a lot of the time is the state of my mind. I value my relationship being in a good place so much that when it's not, it's really hard for me to power through. I can't imagine now being in a relationship where every single day there was fighting, arguing, and disagreements and just lack of excitement and love.
I honestly believe that if you're in a relationship where your partner doesn't inspire you and make you want to be better, then you're not in the right relationship. I believe that if you're in a relationship where you're not inspired to literally be the best version of yourself, then that's not the person for you. And every single relationship that I've been in have I'm not going to say all of them, but especially the last one that I was in, I just wasn't inspired to be the best version of myself. And the reason I think this podcast is so important is I want everyone listening to this podcast to know that I would not be even 1/4 of the man that I am today if I hadn't met Kirsten. And that's the truth. It's I wouldn't be 1/4 of the man that I am today if I hadn't met Kirsten. Because when I met Kirsten, when I met you, I was partying, I was drinking, I was being a fucking idiot. I was just I was just taking my success for granted. Yeah, I was making money and I was doing good. But then all of the money that I would make, I would go out with my single friend and we would get blackout. And that was what we were doing. That's literally, that was my life. And that's just the truth. And when Kirsten and I started seeing each other and I actually started being interested in her for more than just friendship, I'm I love you. One of the things she said to me is she's that's I like you too, but I'm not going to date a guy that parties. I'm just not. I already did that. It was horrible. I hated it. So I'm not going to do that again. And so I literally looked at it and I was okay, then I'm going to stop drinking for 100 days. And that was the catalyst. That literally was it. I was like, okay, I'm like, if
Mhm.
like that's what it's gonna take for me to like be with this person, I was like, then I am going to elevate my life and I'm not going to drink for 100 days. And that 100-day sprint that I didn't drink, not only did I not drink, but like that's when I refound my passion for fitness. Because when I was like, just to be fully transparent, when I was running my fitness coaching business, I was running it alongside my partner at the time. And when I split with my partner, I started to resent my fitness coaching business. And I also started to
Mm.
resent my fitness. Like
Mhm.
anything that reminded me of this person, I was like, fuck this.
Mhm.
And so I just like hated it. Like I just like, I was still going to the gym, but I wasn't actually like going to the gym. But when Kirsten basically told me she wasn't going to date a guy that parties, and then I was like, then I'm going to not drink for 100 days, that literally changed my life. And that set the tone for the start of our relationship. And that just like, I just wouldn't even be close to where I am today if it wasn't for you.
Oh, you fucking bastard.
I told you were going to like it.
You did. You're cute. He said something so sweet yesterday, and I like didn't. I've never really thought about it like this, but he said, like, I didn't love myself enough to quit partying in that time, or else I would have already done it. Like it wasn't that you guys like when I met Brian, like I like literally wouldn't have dated someone that didn't have goals. Like when I met Brian, Brian had goals, but his partying and his drinking was holding him back from getting there, getting to the goals on the timeline that he wanted to get to them. If ever, you guys, like I honestly don't think you can like party and get shit faced every single weekend and have some like serious like business goals unless you're like one of those fucking stunt guys that do the fucking drinking for fun,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like for me, what I found through personal experience is that like it really does hold me back.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool when you said that because I never thought of it that way, right?
Yeah.
Like that was a huge thing for me because in my past relationship, he had partied and partied and partied and partied. And I spent countless nights like with him, like crying and shaking and then repeating the cycle over and over again. And I just knew I was tapped out there. I also have been in relationships where like it almost made me drink more.
Yeah.
It was triggering to make me drink more, to eat out more. It was like I would be doing decent on my own and then I would get into a relationship and I would progressively get worse.
Yeah.
And I think that we normalize that as society too. It's like date nights where we go and we get like tons of fucking pizza and food and all these things. And like the difference with the relationship with Brian is it never really like we never drank more. We were always consistently wanting to progress, not just like individually, but as a team and together. And yesterday we were eating our like healthy meals and Brian looks at me and he's like, let's just be healthy forever. And I was like, absolutely. Like, I feel like over
Just
the
make the
life,
decision.
yeah, like I don't like that's not what a partner should be. A partner should be supporting like your absolute best version of yourself. And that's where so many disconnects happen in relationships. And that's where like the wrong partner can ruin your life, where you make this decision that you want to be better and you want to do better. You want to start taking full responsibility. You want to start drinking less. You want to start eating better. And your partner isn't ready to make that move. And you're constantly on a daily basis trying to be like, come up here. It's so much more fun up here. Like, be here with me. And you're trying to pull this person back. And inherently, they just like drag you down with them. And that's the issue. And I said this morning. I was like, one of the reasons why Brian and I have been able to be together, stay together, and continue to progress is like you can be regressing, you can stay stagnant, or you can progress. I can't think of a single time in our relationship where we were even stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
We are always progressing. We're always getting better. And having a partner that's committed to being better has also helped me in turn be better. I think it's everything. Yeah. I honestly think like your partner can definitely be that rock that's holding you down.
It can be the rock that's holding you down. And this is the thing though, right? So I think that this comes down to self-worth. And I'm just going to have a real conversation with you. And I think that a lot of you, and this might be you, are in relationships with people that you know are holding you back, but you refuse to leave because on some level you feel like this is the best you're going to get.
Yes.
You feel like this is the best you're going to get and you're afraid of being alone. And so you would rather have somebody that you know, even though you know that they're not good for you, than being alone. And like, I hear this, like, this actually like really does, like, it hurts. And because I know what it feels like to be lonely, like I get it. But it's also like me and Kirsten have had many conversations about our own life goals and our own life purpose. And being in a partnership, I told myself this. I remember after my last relationship ended, I remember I literally said to myself, and I told Cole this, and I was like, I will literally never, ever, ever put a relationship in front of my purpose ever again, ever. Because the last relationship I was in, I was on purpose. I was like in momentum. I knew exactly what I wanted. I was like heading towards this goal and this target. And then this relationship came into my life, and it's almost like I started compromising what I wanted to do with my life and who I wanted to become and like the direction that I wanted to go to please this person. And so I made the decision that for the rest of my life, I will never, ever, ever allow a relationship to get in the way between me and my purpose. And so me and Kirsten have had like multiple conversations on both ends, being like, this is exactly what I want to do. And this is so fucking important to me. And like, I need you to support that. And I need you to understand that on both levels. Because if I had a partner that was telling me like, you're working too much and like, you never take time off, and like, why can't you have fun? And like, why don't you go out and drink with me? And like, why don't we go out more? Like, I just could not be with that person. I couldn't. And I'm sure you're the same. Like, if I was going out every weekend, having drinks with the boys and being like, why aren't you coming out with me? Like, why won't you have drinks with the boys? It's like, that's not the type of person that I fucking want to be with.
And dude, and I think that like once you start, like I think, this is so good. This is so good, you guys. And I'm going to try and take what's in my mind and say it in a way that makes like a lot of sense. You can only like see the possibilities of the possibilities you're allowing yourself to see on a daily basis. So a lot of you guys are staying stuck because you haven't shown yourself that you're better than the relationship you're in. You're just staying, you're not working on yourself, and you're blaming your lack of action on this partner. And so of course you don't feel worthy of anything else because you're not showing yourself on a daily basis what you're worth. Does that make sense? And so I said today, like if Brian started partying every single weekend, like that's not attractive to me. Like, I don't want to say that it would be easy to leave because I would be extremely disappointed, but I know like same goes for him, that if he started regressing and partying every single weekend and he started really enjoying going out to the bars and like sleeping in, like we're no longer on the same page.
Yeah.
And we would have to like go our separate ways. But so many people are on two completely separate pages, you guys. You're in two fucking completely separate books and you're trying to get back on the same page and it's just not happening. And so it's like, and like, I get like, I've been in relationships like 14 years where I was like, there was nothing, you guys. There was nothing, no counseling, no therapy. There was nothing because we just weren't aligned. We did not want the same things. And that person would have continued to hold me back for the rest of my life if I didn't realize like I was made for more. Not in the sense that this person was made for less, but like in order for me to get to that more that I know I deserved, it was no longer this person's season with me and I had to leave. And sometimes like you need to be the person with the fucking balls, even if you're the female, and you need to leave because there is some people that will never tap into that level of awareness is like, this person isn't good for me. And so that's when you see people that are 70, 80, sleeping in separate bedrooms, don't love each other because neither one of them grew the balls to just leave and find a partner that actually served them.
I agree. And I also think that this does come back to like, so I have a few things to say on this. So number one is if you have a partner that's holding you back from success, and you're not working on your goals because of your partner and you're blaming them, take a look in the fucking mirror because that's actually you, right? Like you're the one that's choosing to not take the actions. And like, if you, and this is the thing. So like, let's say you're like, Brian, that's not true because every time I go to work in my business, my partner literally yells and screams at me, or they like get so angry at me. It's still you because you're still in the relationship, even though you know that this person is holding you back from success. And so like, I think that this is my definition of a healthy relationship. And I'm not an expert by any means, but this is what I have like up to this point. And me and Kirsten are in a very committed and healthy and happy relationship. So this is my definition, like a happy, healthy relationship. I'm going to make the commitment to work on myself for the rest of my life. You're going to make the commitment to work on yourself for the rest of your life. And then we as a couple, as a high level couple, are going to commit to working on the relationship together. That to me is my definition of like a healthy, honest relationship. And that is what Kirsten and I have. And if one of us breaks that agreement and one of us starts going, like if I start going out doing drugs, drinking, etc., or Kirsten starts going on fucking boats with random guys and like taking shirtless photos or whatever the fuck, I don't know.
Oh my God, I just got anxiety.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is like, if one of us breaks that agreement, like I respect myself too much to spend the rest of my life with somebody that doesn't serve my purpose. It's like, I'm so committed to like the person that I want to be in the place that I want to go that I'm not willing to allow anyone to get in the way of that. And I think that it's like, it starts with like a high level of self-respect and self-worth. Like I love myself too much to be with a partner that doesn't see my potential and see my goals and support my dreams. And it's also like, and that doesn't mean I'm not going to work with Kirsten through like any adversities that she has and vice versa. It's like, it's not like we're like, oh, like you had a couple drinks, peace the fuck out. Like, see you later. It's like, we're working on it together, but we're also committed to working on it together and we're committed to working on ourselves. And if one of us makes a mistake, it's like we're self-responsible enough to be like, I fucked up here.
Yes.
And I'm so fucking sorry.
Yes.
And I realize my mistake and I'm willing to get better. And I'm not going to gaslight you. I'm going to look at myself in the mirror and realize that I'm the person that needs to fix this. Right.
It's the awareness about the problem. So if you're talking to somebody, a partner specifically, because that's what we're talking about. If you're talking to your partner and you say like you going out and drinking until like 5 a.m. and not messaging me was like not okay. And your partner goes, you're fucking controlling, you're this and this. There's nowhere to go there. There's nowhere to go there because they're not even taking ownership for the part they played. And so with every problem that Brian and I have encountered, there's been a certain level of self-responsibility. I can own what I did here. And then in that way, we can move forward together and like start working on it. But if we don't actually take ownership for the part we played, then we don't. You guys, I will literally support Brian in anything that he does. And I think as a female, like if you can't support your partner throughout their like crazy fucking goals, that's a problem. Like I think like a huge thing that like males need that they don't get from their partners is just like support and belief.
There was one of our friends recently ended up leaving his relationship because his partner straight up said to him, like, I don't fucking believe in you. Imagine hearing that. Like, imagine hearing that from your life partner. I don't believe in you. Like, why don't you go back to work at XYZ thing? I don't believe that you're going to be successful. That like disgusts me. That like makes me so angry. I want to fucking hit something. I don't believe in you. It's like, as a partner, like if you have that, and like, that's like the most extreme version. Like that's probably the worst thing that you could say to somebody, in my opinion, that's going after their goals is I don't believe in you. But like lower level versions of that, it's like, why are you doing that? Why are you working so much? Like, why don't you spend more time with us? Why don't you do this? And like, don't get me wrong, like speak your needs, but also understand that like, if your partner has something that they want to go after and they have a goal that they want to chase, the absolute worst thing that you could do is try to hold them back from that goal. Because even if they stop going after the goal because they want to please you, they're going to end up resenting you because they know that you're the person that held them back from success. I also think that it's super important to understand that like as a life partner for somebody else, me and Kirsten were talking about this. It's funny that two human beings just like meet and then they decide.
I say this all the time.
They just decide that they're going to be like life partners.
Let's share a bed and a blanket and let's no longer do life by ourselves. Let's just do life together.
But like as a life partner, by the way, guys, the thing that you want the most from your life partner is the thing that you need to give the most. And so one of the things I want to hold up a mirror to you on this podcast is like, if you want more support from your partner, then give more support to your partner and give more love to your partner and encourage your partner to go after their goals and their dreams and their ambitions more, because like that's what you give is what you're going to get.
Oh, I have so much to say. Like, absolutely. So I think like belief is everything. And like, I will say too, like Brian, everything I do, Brian, like I remember one day I was like, I don't know, what if I don't get on? And Brian's like, you're Kirsten Mark. You literally can do anything. You get anything that you want. Like you're going to get on the show. Right. Like, remember that? And like, so he believes in me, like sometimes more than I believe in myself. Now like, I feel like that was like one of the things that drew me to Brian was like how much he believed in me at first as my coach. And now it's like my partner. Now I believe in myself, but I just think belief is so important. And the other thing that I want to say is one of my relationships, there was a constant letdown and constant promises being broken to the point where I did not believe in this person. And unfortunately, I was younger. This is like over a decade ago, you guys. I had this fear of being alone because all I knew was a relationship. And so instead of leaving the relationship in a way that was respectful, I'm like, I like lost belief in this person. Like everything they said that they were going to do, it honestly made me like laugh. I was like, okay, fucking like, I don't trust you anymore because you've told me for the last 10 years that this is what you're going to do. And look, we're still fucking here. But instead of like actually bringing awareness to that, which I don't even know if I was in a place where I was able to, like, I don't know that I actually had that level of knowledge and tools to tap into. I hadn't gotten there yet, but I ended up just being like unfaithful, and that just threw gasoline on a fire that was already fucking flaming. And now looking back, it's like the root of the problem is that there was so many broken promises. And like, I was at a place where I was ready to leave, but instead of just like honoring that, I started to self-sabotage. And like self-sabotage, I said this on a little reel I did, is the act of saying you're going to do something and then proceeding not to do it. For me, it was the act of saying I was going to leave this person and then letting fear take over and then staying and self-sabotaging to try and have the relationship end. And like, as much as I learned through that process, I don't wish that on anybody, because like some of the choices I made in that relationship are also some of like the deepest, like darkest times that I've had to work through with my therapist, right? Like, and that's like it doesn't have to be that way. So if you start to feel a lack of belief in your partner, obviously there's conversations to be had. But to me, it's like anything you do, I support. I'm doing a show, I'm all in. How can I help you like win?
Yeah.
Like I'm on the same team. Like I'm doing this. Can you come with me? I will drop everything, you guys. Yes, I'll be there. Like anything that Brian's doing and that he's passionate about, like I will be there supporting him, front row, being that like crazy fucking wife, being like, that's my fucking partner. And I'm so proud of him. And I just think that's like, if you can't do that and you don't feel that level of like support and love for your partner, like that's not right now your person. And there either needs to be a really like intense conversation.
Yeah, I also think that another thing I just want to touch on, so that I love that, the whole support and the making sure that you're always there for that person and believing in that person. And I think that one of the things that really makes this partnership work, and the reason that I think that we continue to grow as a couple, is that we've talked about this. One of the things you said is you're like, you know, if you know that your partner is consistently letting you down and you keep staying, it's like you need to leave instead of self-sabotaging, etc. Kirsten and I have had many conversations where it's like, I've been open about this as well. On mine and Kirsten's honeymoon, I ended up finding and doing cocaine. And I told Kirsten about this. And after I told Kirsten about this, she literally said, like, I love you so much, but if you do this again, like, I will leave you. And that conversation has been more than enough for me to steer clear of any environments or any situations, or even getting to a level like I don't even have more than 2 drinks ever. It's just, it never happens because I understand what happens when I get to that level. And I respect my relationship way too much to even get close to that level. And so like having the right partner is also having a partner that's like willing to draw boundaries. And also as a partner being willing to draw boundaries. And Kirsten and I have had conversations about stuff as well, where like both of us have said, like, if this happens again, I will leave. And then that causes the other person to have a radical behavior shift, which allows the relationship to continue to grow. Like that to me is the right partner. The right partner like respects themselves enough where they're willing to draw a healthy boundary. And that healthy boundary isn't actually a cage. It's like it's a framework for you to step into a higher level of yourself so that you can be better for not only the partner, but everyone else around you. You know, people might be like, oh, that's like the mentality behind most men is like, I'm not going to just bend to my partner's wishes because she says that she doesn't want that. It's like, that's like, why would I do that? That's like a weak man. Like, no, that to me represents strength. Is like, it represents strength for me to understand that like, this is what my partner needs. And this is the man that I need to be with this partner. And the right partner will encourage you and want and like ask you to step into a higher level of yourself. Like, you're fucking better than this.
Yes.
Like, you're better than this. You deserve better than this. Like, you are better than this and you're acting lower level. So if you act lower level again, I don't want that version of you. I want the best version of you.
Yeah. Oh, you guys, a relationship like isn't a marriage. A relationship isn't a house. A relationship isn't a child. A relationship isn't any of those things. What Brian just said is so important. Like, a relationship is like changing in order to be able to like meet your partner's needs. And while also understanding, are those changes actually benefiting me? Any single change that I have required Brian Mark to make has also been in his best interest. I'm not saying change your business. I don't like that you work with a ton of really good looking, hot female fitness trainers. He does, you guys. They're fucking bombshells, right? Like, that is like a very selfish need. And it's not a request that I would ever make, right? The needs that I have, Brian has always been willing to step into, and they've always also helped him in turn. So like, a relationship can mean, I don't even like the word compromise, but it's like stepping into that best version of yourself, whatever that looks like. And anything that I've ever, like the boundary that I drew, like one, like if you do drugs here and there and like you're good with that, that's totally cool. It's a slippery slope when it comes to Brian. And I see what it does to him. He beats himself up more than I would for that night in Turks and Caicos, right? And so it's like this is not the level of Brian Mark that like I will accept. And like, then that becomes the new, like, you're like, that's not the level of Brian Mark I will accept. Like, I want what's best for Brian. I want Brian's business to explode. I want Brian's social medias to explode. I want Brian to just like, outside of all those like external things, I just want Brian to like wake up incredibly fucking happy every single day. But some of us have these like ill intentions for our partner. We don't actually want to see them do well. A lot of that we could break this down. This could go forever, but a lot of that could come down for your own insecurities. You don't possibly, it's hard for you to want to see someone else do well when you're not doing well. Yeah. So I think like we're so committed to just like being better.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing I want to say too, and I heard this from Jordan Peterson this morning, and I actually sent it to you, is in order to have like a healthy relationship, he said you need to have at least 90 minutes a week talking about your life and where you're going. And I think unintentionally, Brian and I do that. We talk about our trips, we talk about where we're going, we talk about our business, we talk about the next step. So without even intentionally setting aside that time, we're constantly talking about our vision and how our visions align and where we're going, right? And then the next thing he said is one date is like required, which we do every single week. We don't miss. Every single Friday we go on a date night, and 2 is preferred. And I would argue to say that we like have, me and Brian and I spend a lot of time together. Like we spend a lot of time and present time. And that's been like progressively gotten better over the course of our relationship, because there's been times where we've been facing phones. Yes. Yeah.
Choosing the wrong partner could ruin your life, and choosing the right one could skyrocket your growth and skyrocket your success. And I think to end this podcast, I want to say that if you're hanging on, it's like if you are trying to sprint, but you have like a ball and chain attached to your ankles, and every single time you take a step, you feel this like heavy weight being pulled with you, like you're just literally holding yourself back from success. When the right partner isn't going to like let you run with the ball and chain, the right partner is going to like unchain the ball and chain. And then they're going to be like, get in the car and like, let's go for a drive. Like we're going to get there way faster. So like, the right partner will accelerate your growth. The right partner will want to see you win. The right partner will cheer you the fuck on when I have to work 14-hour days, I just go tell Kirsten, like, yo, babe, like I'm doing a big launch right now. Like I'm launching the 10K mastermind and I'm going to be working 14-hour days for like the next week. So I just need your support. On Friday, I'll turn my phone off for date night. I fucking love you. Like, I just need you.
And I support him.
And she's like, done. Sounds good. When she's doing her event, she had a big event launch. She's like, I'm just letting you know, I'm launching my event. I'm going to be super fucking busy. I need you to support that. And I'll probably be head in my face on my phone for like 12 to 15 hours a day. And I need you to still love me. And I'm like, cool. Like the right partner will do that. Right. And the wrong partner will be like, you never spend time with me. All you do is on your phone. All you care about is your client. All you want. So if you have somebody like that in your life, have a hard conversation with them and let them know, like, this is my passion, this is my goal, this is my dream, and I need you to support that and communicate that. And if they're not willing to meet those needs, like, you need to respect yourself enough to realize that this relationship might be holding you back.
Oh, so good. And I want to leave you guys with an analogy that I thought of. Okay. So it'd be like running a marathon, and your partner can either be the person in the crowd that is literally cheering you on, babe, you fucking got this. Like, you're gonna fucking, like, that's what I am when I see Brian on stage. You guys, I'm fucking crazy when I see Brian on stage. Like, I sound like a demon is leaving my body because I'm like, okay. So your partner can be that person, or your partner could be the ball and chain on your foot, which is going to hold you back. And in turn, you're going to lose the marathon. You're not going to make it to the finish line. And so your partner needs to be that person that is supporting you and helping you get to where you want to be. We only have X amount of time on this world. If your partner is not helping you step into the best version of you, they are that ball and chain and they are holding you back.
Where do they find you, babe?
You guys can find me on Instagram, The Real Kirsten Mark, pretty much Kirsten Mark across all platforms. And I would love to have you guys there. Also rate the podcast because that really helps us as well.
Peace. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Hopefully you got some value. If you did, and you want to learn more about how me and my team can help you scale your online fitness business to $10,000 a month, DM me 10K on Instagram at TheRealBrianMark for more information, and I'll reach out to you to see if I can help you grow an online coaching business.